So here we are in stage 2, and this will be the final video for the Get Started series. I've put my colour thumbnails from the previous video up the top there, and that will be the colour reference. So I'm doing a quick sketch here. This is playing at 25 times speed, so I wouldn't expect anybody to draw at this speed. So this is going to be a quick sketch as a guide for the more detailed drawing over the top on a new layer, and really trying to stick with that isometric grid. So of course you can create a more realistic drawing by doing it in proper perspective, but just to keep with the theme of an RPG, I'm keeping that isometric grid. So here we are, the new drawing over the top, adding more detail, and also taking into account any nice shapes that I liked from my thumbnails. Adding even a bit of human anatomy there. As you can see, that front left leg has the shape of a human leg. I'm trying to get some little grotesque details in the face, as it is a focal point and you do want a majority of the detail to be in the face or areas that people are going to look. Now, if you want to know about the isometric grid, you can have a look at the previous video, and that worksheet will have, the part 3, and that worksheet has the isometric grids available there. So as I'm drawing, I'm considering the isometric grid and how each part lines up. So finding the landmarks such as the top of the legs and lining those up along with the grid. Now I'm creating a new layer underneath, and this is my masking layer, so I can use this for all my selections for the fill and be able to select that layer or create masks from it. And then switching to eraser just to erase any bits out if I've gone outside the lines. So now a new layer, I'm putting down my base colours. And the joy of it being digital, you can always change these, add a few different things. You can make 20 different colour styles, but I do have a pretty good idea of what I want to do since I've done that preparation with the colour thumbnails. I know I'm using a combination of details that I liked from the colour thumbnails, such as the flame pattern and also the colours that I achieved in the middle thumbnail there. So working backwards a bit here, I've created a new layer underneath, and I'm working out the shading, the lights and darks there, so just painting in grayscale. And then the other work that I've done, I can set to colour, and that will bring in those values that I've just created. And you can already see a more three-dimensional result. There's a lot of little tricks you can do to give more form and three-dimensionality, such as rim lighting. So that blue light you can see on the edge of the abdomen, that's an example of rim lighting. And it gives that nice form as it separates the core shadow. You'll see a lot of cinematographers and movies use that same trick, and they put maybe a blue light to fill in the shadow. So yeah, it's just really noodling away at the details, getting some texture in there to break up the plastic look. And referring back to my reference, trying to get some nice details in there. And it also helps to set your brush opacity to like 20% or 30% if you're trying to introduce a bit of colour. Because even though you've got the pressure sensitivity on the stylus, sometimes you want a bit more control. So to do that, you can use the numbers 1 to 0 to manually adjust your opacity for the brush. And it does help to add a bit of the opposite color here and there, and that helps to neutralize colors as well as bring a bit more visual interest to the area, and it doesn't look so flat. If you do use the complementary color, it will grey out the color when it's mixed with this complementary. So often you don't want to blend too much because it can really grey out your colors. It's a better idea to color pick using the color picker more so than the eyedropper tool straight from the canvas, if you don't want everything to wash out. Adding some eyes here, some more grotesque details. And yeah, the process is really just constantly noodling away at it and jumping. I tend to jump all over the place. It doesn't make sense if you're watching it, or even to me much, but I just try to not get too fixated on one area and just keep the momentum up as I go. And often if I'm really challenged by an area, I'll come back to it later, because often I'll have a better understanding of what I want to do if other parts have been fleshed out. And if you really are struggling, you can always take a break and look at some more reference to get some ideas. And it also helps to take a break anyway, just to look at the image with fresh eyes. Another trick for looking at the image with fresh eyes is you often can use flip horizontal, so flipping the whole canvas horizontal, and that way it tricks your brain into thinking you're looking at a different image. And I was pretty happy with this in the end. The total paint time was probably about 3.5 hours. You could get it achieved a lot quicker than that if you sort of photo bashed and created a lot of textures from photos. But with this I did choose to limit myself just to painting with brushes. And yeah, although you can paint an entire image just using the default hard round brush, it does really aid your process to use a variety of brushes, especially when it comes to texturing. You'll see at the end here I use a brush that has the look of paws, so that helps to just add those little details, and I'm doing that on a new layer. So if you ever feel like it's too risky to change something, always do it on a new layer and you can test and adjust from there. Now I'm just cleaning up the silhouette with the eraser after having merged all the layers together, and we're just about to finish up. So I finished it up just with some adjustment layers just to bring, such as color balance and levels, just to bring everything into more harmony. And yeah, there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this series. Don't forget to like, subscribe and all that stuff, and yeah, check out more videos to come. So that completes our Get Started series. Thanks for watching.
A most heroic victory. The darkness has been imprisoned, and now we must prepare ourselves for what lies ahead. Keep training and sharpen our skills in anticipation that one day we will be required for duty again. Go forth and paint.